Hello, today we are going to discuss really important topic, that is gradient descent. Gradient descent is an optimization algorithm which is used to minimize the loss or cost function. To minimize loss function during training. This is something really important, like we have to reduce the error, right? When we train the model, we have to reduce the error. So for that purpose we have to use gradient descent. அதுக்காக தான் நம்ம gradient descent யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம். So the formula for gradient descent is newer weight w new equal to w old weight minus alpha into dou by dou w older weight. Here we have to give the loss function. Okay, this is the loss. So here alpha is nothing but this is the learning rate. This is one of the important parameter, learning rate, one of the important parameter in gradient descent. Okay, during training the value is computed by taking the partial derivative of the loss function with respect to each parameter, like learning rate and the older weight. Okay, the process is repeated until it finds the global minimum point. It has two types of gradient descents. One is vanish gradient descents, another one is exploit gradient descents. We are going to discuss one by one. Yeah, in this graph you can see this is how the gradient descent value is computed. So here you can see this is the curve of gradient descents. Here the points are steps. Each steps, first it chooses the initial weight as here and then computing the gradient descent value, that is the learning rate. Here we have to choose the smaller learning rate, because the steps, if you select larger value, that is the larger learning rate, then model will not capture the global minimal point. So this is the global minimal point. Select the pen. Yeah, so here you can see this is the global minimal point. To find this value, we have to select the learning rate very small value. Then only we can find this point to reduce the error during training. So if we select larger learning rate, then it's very difficult to find the global minimum. First you selected here and then it goes here and here. So the point is not captured here, right? So we have to be very careful of choosing the learning rate. This is one of the important parameter when we train the model. Next we are going to see the types. First one is vanish. Vanish gradient descent, GB. Vanish gradient descent occur when the derivative of the loss or cost function is extremely small or zero. If it is zero means there is no learning rate, right? There is no weights we are feeding to the neural network. Then how model can reduce the error? So we have to be very careful about this. To overcome this problem, we can select the other activation function, like yeah, we can use leaky relu or other activation function to overcome vanishing gradient descent problem, and also we can fine tune or select the optimal learning rate value. By choosing the correct learning rate, we can avoid the vanishing gradient descent problem. And next one is exploit gradient descent. Let me explain first what is exploit gradient descent. Exploit gradient descent is nothing but the derivative of the gradient descent is extremely large. The derivative weight is extremely large means then it leads to instability of the model. So we have to be very careful. I shown image, right? So if we are selecting larger learning rate, then here we are not able to capture the global minimal point. Then this leads to instability of the model. So we have to be very careful about the learning rate value. Yeah, if you have any doubts or queries, please comment in my video. In the comment section, you can ask your doubts. Let me clarify as soon as I see. Okay, let's recap topics that we discussed today. Today we discussed the gradient descent. Gradient descent is one of the statistical method that is optimization algorithm which is used to minimize the loss function when during training. In the specific neural network, we are mainly used in back propagations. So we have to select the rate or minimal learning rate when we doing the back propagation or when training the model. That is one of the important thing. Okay, and we have discussed two types. One is vanishing gradient descent and another one is exploit gradient descent. So vanishing gradient descent is that problem is occurred when the derivative value is zero or extremely small value. So if it is zero means there is no learning to the model, right? So to avoid this problem we can use select the rate learning rate and the other activation function and initializing the weight. That using that we can avoid vanishing gradient descent problem. And exploit gradient descent problem